Welcome to Jacksonville Buzz, Tech Champions. I'm your host, Chris Budihas, and joining me today is David Walton with Attorney Shield Inc. David, welcome.
Thank you.
Also an Army vet.
Yes, absolutely.
So thanks for your service.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate it.
Yes,
so
sir.
Talk to us about your company.
Well, yeah. So Attorney Shield is essentially a tech and legal service, and what we do is Attorney Shield is a mobile app that you can download from either the Android or Apple Store. But essentially, you sign up as a member, and our members have access to on-demand access to legal support. So actual barred attorneys, once you hit the service request button, will come on live with you within 30 seconds and help you through your situation.
Wow.
And those situations, the scope of that is around police-initiated contact, and so that includes traffic stops, domestic situations, even if you're walking down the street, pedestrian, other, and even situations dealing with traffic accidents.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you guys have been around for 1 year.
1 year. It was our birthday yesterday.
So happy birthday.
Thank you.
You don't even look a year old.
Yeah, it feels like we're pretty old, but yeah.
So what's your biggest challenge as a new company?
Yeah, so biggest challenges in a new company is always going to be capitalization, right? And so in our case, the tech side is already built, and so there's not a lot of costs associated with that because technology, once it's built, is sort of cheap to operate, right? You don't have to host your data center anymore. There's AWS or Azure to handle that for you. So one of our biggest costs is the legal staffing. So so we staff our attorneys. We don't outsource that out where they're sort of waiting around for a call and then they get paid. They're on the clock because they have to be available in that very short amount of time. And so from our perspective, that operational cost eats a lot of capital. We've got a pretty high burn rate. And so our challenge has always been capital. And so we've gone through, we went through a raise earlier started in 2023 that finished up this year, but we went through an initial seed raise and we're about to launch a crowdfunding raise, right? That'll probably launch in the next couple of weeks, but we're looking at raising $1 million there just to sort of energize the organization, get the right people on deck, get marketing dollars, get more capital dollars for additional R&D.
Right. And where are you guys, so like location wise, are you in specific states or is it national? And what does that growth look like in the future?
Yeah, so we started out with a pilot just here in Florida and parts of Georgia, but on April 3rd, we went national, right? So we're national available. Our largest markets are California, Florida, Texas, and New York, and followed by like Illinois or something like that. But whatever the case, it's a nationally available, and we are growing, right? And so once we hit that national reach, there was obviously that expanded the footprint of customers or members that we could acquire.
So what's one of your biggest challenges, or how about competition in this space?
Right now, it's interesting because there's no competition. We sort of it's not going to be great forever, meaning, the first guy sometimes gets killed. And so our goal is not to be the first guy that walks in the door and gets killed. And so, but what I believe we've done is we've opened up a new segment to the online legal services market, right? And so nobody's offering on-demand access to legal professionals, if you will. It is sort of huge. It's expensive, but it's huge too, for that specific purpose of police-initiated contact. Now, that'll expand perhaps later on, but what we needed to do is we needed to choose a narrow focus that could have a huge impact, right? And most people either don't understand their rights or they're a little bit sort of nervous to advocate for their rights. And so if a police officer is asking you, hey, can I search your car? Where are you coming from? Where are you going? Those are questions you don't have to ask, and those are requests you don't have to oblige. And a lot of people allow those things, and it makes them even later for work because they don't know they can refuse. And that's where the attorney comes in and sort of becomes the center of focus. Instead of you having to advocate for yourself, you've got someone to do it on your behalf.
So, this is going out nationwide, and there's folks, some folks are probably telling stuff like, I don't need this. Why should I get it? Why should they get it?
Well, that's a good question. Why should you get it? So there's a reason why you shouldn't get it. If you're an attorney, you may not want to get it, right? But we have attorneys who get it because they understand the downsides of self-avocation. So if you get in, most traffic stops are just routine, right? It's fine, right?
Yeah.
But if you get into a situation where there's a search that's requested, or maybe you've had a drink, but you should never admit that you've had a drink, right? You should never do that, right? Most people don't understand that, and most people think that if they're just sort of nice and compliant, that'll get them out of trouble. That's not true.
That's not true,
right? The deal is what you're doing is you're assisting law enforcement in their investigation because you're the suspect.
Wow.
And so we tell people all the time, the reason why you should get an attorney shield, because you don't realize it, but if a police officer is asking you questions, you're a suspect. And if you view yourself as a suspect, do you feel comfortable advocating for your rights? Do you know the law enough to know what to say and what not to say?
Yeah.
That's the important part.
And I tell you, we were talking off camera. I mean, your price point's so low. To me, it's like an insurance policy.
It kind of is. Well, why wouldn't you? And it sits there. It doesn't bother you. We don't spam you, whatever.
Right.
But if you need it, open the app, hit the button.
You can save thousands of dollars in attorney's fees.
Sure can.
And maybe just alleviate the issue because it was a non-issue in the first place.
Yeah, the back end's pretty expensive, and so police departments are hailed for the number of tickets, the number of citations, the number of DUI arrests or whatever. But at the end of the day, a lot of those are dismissed on the back end, but you still have a arrest record, right? And so you could be the soberest person in the world, but if a police can use discretion to arrest you for DUI, even though it gets dismissed on the back end, you still got a mug shot that's on the web, right? The whole idea is to avoid the mug shot and the legal fees on the back end, because that's going to be more expensive and maybe more embarrassing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So David, where do people find Attorney Shield?
Yeah, it's really easy. So our website is www.attorney-shield.com, but an easier way to remember it is attorneybutton.com.
Attorneybutton.com.
We call it the attorney button.
Yeah.
We call it the attorney button, so it's attorneybutton.com. It'll resolve on our website. You can learn more.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
Thanks
Appreciate it.
for what you're doing for our community, and thanks for your previous service with the military.
Thank you. You as well.
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, you like what you heard, please share us, connect with us on LinkedIn, and wow, go take a look at what they're doing at Attorney Shield. It is an insurance policy and might save you thousands of dollars, but amazing what tech's doing in this space. So from Tech Champions, I look forward to our next individual to come through the door and see what they're doing in this space, but really appreciate Attorney Shield coming here to talk to us.
Sure,
Thanks
absolutely.
again, David.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.